And welcome to our New Year, New You segment 2025. We're going to help you get your year started off right. And this morning, we have Jet Hatu. Good morning, Jet.
Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. And, you know, Jet is somebody that wears many hats. Y'all have seen her on here in many capacities. She was even clogging on Sam Bass's show. So anyway, So we want to talk this morning about positive attitudes. We want to talk about just in general, but first I want to congratulate Jet. She just won. Of course, Jet is a realtor with First Class Real Estate, and you just won the Rock Star Realtor of the Year for First Class.
Yes, I was really surprised yesterday when they called my name.
Wow. So what does that mean? What did you do to get this?
So they choose someone that has 0 to 2 years experience.
Okay.
So I got my license in December of 23, and I started my real estate journey in January of last year.
Okay.
And so the person that receives this award is someone that just exudes the culture that First Class wants, that is willing to learn, and that also has put houses under contract and sold. And in my first year, I sold 5.
Wow.
And I have several under contract now. So it just came very natural to me.
Right.
And so I pick up things very quickly. And so I just took the bull by the horns and ran with it. So
very good. Well, you have a lot of energy, Jet, and you like people, and so I would say real estate suits you great. So you also have a coaching business, which is really one of the reasons, several reasons I ask you here, but that's one of the reasons I asked you to come today. And you're also, you have not always been an entrepreneur.
No.
You did work for another company, and you know, a lot of us are in a rut, and we feel like, gosh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself. I want this money to be mine and not, work for somebody else. So give some advice this morning and kind of tell your story about becoming an entrepreneur, why you were just so bent on being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I started a journey with a staffing firm here in the Rocky Mount area in 2015. At that point, we were just 2 people in our office, and the revenue that we were making was barely enough to be able to clear 2 salaries plus keep the lights on. And I had a very good mentor, and then she ended up retiring about 3 years into my start there. And I took over as the manager.
Okay.
And that firm allowed me and taught me how to run a P&L, how to manage a business, how to manage a team. They taught me leadership skills. They taught me sales and marketing. They taught me everything that an entrepreneur needed to know.
Okay.
And again, like I said earlier, I absorb everything. So when someone tells me something, I would love a challenge. So as a manager, I had started setting goals, and Little Old Rocky Mount, believe it or not, was the #1 branch for 3 years in a row, even during COVID, with the sales and how much we did year over year. But any person knows that when you're running 1,000 miles an hour, even though my nickname is Jet, when you're running 1,000 miles an hour constantly, year after year after year, trying to pursue, those goals that like a corporate entity is hanging over your head, you get burned out. You feel, job insecurity, so to speak. And I did get very burned out.
Yes.
I felt like I hit a brick wall, and at one point I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I started really digging deep. And the great thing is my husband has never worked for anyone. He's always worked for himself. So when we sat down and talked about, starting Elite Overhead Garage Doors, I I felt 100% confident that I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Right.
But a lot of people don't want to take the leap until they feel 100% ready.
Right.
And I felt like that's where I was. I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur. I got a degree from North Carolina Wesleyan College, and I wanted to go into criminal justice. But that career path just did not happen for me.
Right.
And so once I saw my capabilities of growing a business, increasing employees, increasing the revenue, we decided to jump out and start our own thing. And then I just felt more drawn to working for myself. It's the freedom behind it.
Right.
But for the first 6 months, I was dual careered. I was still working at the staffing firm and running my own business. And I was not in the right mindset. And I feel like mindset is a huge thing. As women, we get very siloed into doing, these are my tasks, this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to accomplish it. Don't think that you're better than anybody else.
Right.
I don't want better for myself, or if I do, I have to keep it under wraps, and I
Right.
can't express it. And so I lived in that world where I teeter-tottered between I want more
Right.
and I need to just sit back and be quiet.
Right.
And I even hired my own coach to help me out of this mindset because I was really nervous. I was making very good money, and I was nervous about taking that leap. But taking that leap and leaving that staffing firm was the best decision I had ever made, because here I am 3 years later and I've built 4 businesses.
You sure have.
So I just had to get my mindset right. And my biggest piece of advice is, if you feel less confident in yourself,
Right.
do something challenging every single day, whether that be something that scares you, whether that's going to the gym by yourself and working out by yourself, whether that is going and sitting at a restaurant and eating by yourself. A lot of people don't like to feel lonely. So
Right.
you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable to build confidence, to be able to get you where you want to go. So I think the first step to like really becoming an entrepreneur is changing your mindset that you really want it.
Wow. Well, that is really, really good advice, because, everything is, let's face it, everything is a mindset. You can either be down in the dumps and that's where you are, or you can get out of it. You can even, maybe you need some help. So maybe you can tell me if you hire a coach to help you, what does the coach do?
So a lot of people get coaches, mentors, and therapists kind of mixed up.
Okay.
We are not therapists. We are not focused on what happened in the past, what do we
Right.
need to fix. What I do as a coach, and most coaches do, we are future focused. So we help you set goals. We help you recognize what's holding you back.
Right.
So I also coach softball, and I'll give this analogy here. And I coach young girls, so between the ages of 8 and 12. And my job as a coach is to show you how to do this, watch you do this, correct how you do this, but then after I've done that 2 or 3 times, my job now is to watch you do it and say, okay, what did you do wrong?
Okay.
And by that point, you should be able to say, I know that I did this wrong, this is how I'm going to correct it. So that's what I do as a coach. And I mainly try to work on women's mindsets, get them out of those siloed mindsets. And then I do work with quite a few women that want to either advance their career, not just start businesses, but I do have women that want to climb the ladder that I've helped. And then I do help women that want to start businesses or help grow their businesses. Because sometimes when you get into your business, you're so focused on your business, you need an outsider's point of view.
Exactly.
And you need someone to be able to push you to those goals, because if you don't have that person on your heels,
Right.
you get complacent. And so that's where I help and hold them accountable and walk them through everything. Another thing that coaching is not is I don't tell you what to do all the time. I will give you advice, but it is your job to do the work.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there that a coach just tells you what you need to do, and then you need to follow the guidelines. But that's not. Coaching is very in-depth.
Right.
We're side by side, and I'm helping you, and I'm encouraging you, and helping you move forward.
But if you're going to hire a coach, you've got to have an open mind. You've got to accept the help. You have to accept the help. And, you know, you can't do anything, you know, going into 2025, many of you are saying, things are going to be different for me in 2025. Well, everybody, you have to have goals. You have to have goals. Absolutely. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, and
You got to know where you're going.
100%. And tomorrow is technically National Quitters Day.
Oh, wow.
So when people do set those New Year's resolutions, January 1, right? Most people do. By the 10th day into the year, it's Quitters Day. They quit what their resolutions are. A resolution is not a goal. Goals are, if you've ever heard of SMART goals,
Yes.
they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant to what you're trying to accomplish, and they're time-bound. So unless your resolution is set as a SMART goal, then you will never accomplish it, and your brain will tell you, oh, it's okay, I can take this day off, and then you've just joined a bunch of people for National Quitters
Right.
Day.
Exactly. And, you know, the most common resolution, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going on a diet. And, you know, I hate to hear people say that because there again, that's a mindset. You've got to change it's got to be a life change. It can't be, don't look at it as a diet. I mean, you've got to make a life change. I mean, don't just eat good for 2 weeks. You've got to make up your mind. It's the same thing. We have to set goals, but you know, you do a really good job, Jet, with your coaching, understanding. I forgot who I was talking to not long ago, but they were just really. Your name comes up whenever we talk about that, or when somebody in the community talks about that. You have really, I mean, like you said, you've opened 4 businesses. You have grown into 4 businesses. So, I mean, if you want to hire a coach, look at somebody that has been successful and let somebody help you. I guess where I'm going with this is the diet thing, which will come up in some more segments that we're doing with Boyce Willis and all of that. But it's the same thing. You've got to set goals, but you can't just narrow it down to, I'm going to do this for 2 weeks. It has to all be a frame of mind, a life goal, that kind of thing. I mean, wouldn't you say?
I would. And, you know, coaching is supposed to be meant for short term.
Right.
You know, therapy is, you know, short term, long term. You know, there are other types of mentorships that could be long term, but coaching is meant to be short term.
Right.
You know, you learn the valuable habits and skills that you need to be able to say, okay, I've got this myself after a certain amount of time.
I was going to say, sometimes you have to cut the string.
That's
you got to
right.
cut the cord, and you've got to do this on your own. You just need a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You need a Kickstarter.
You need somebody lighting that fire under
Yeah,
your bottom,
you do.
you know, every time that you feel like, I don't feel like going to the gym today.
Right.
I don't feel like eating that healthy meal for today. I want that delicious dessert that we just saw on that commercial.
Right, exactly. So anyway, Jet, this has been very helpful. How can, if somebody wants to use you as a coach, how can they get in touch with you?
There's a couple of different ways. If you see me in the local community, definitely stop me. We can have a conversation.
You'll probably see her in the local community.
I do offer free 30-minute consultations to make sure that what you're needing and wanting is something that I feel confident and comfortable with moving forward with.
Right.
During that conversation, if I don't feel that we can work together, then I will suggest another option.
So you will talk to them and do an assessment.
I will do an assessment, and then from that point, then we start our program. And everybody's program is tailored differently.
Right.
But you can reach me by phone, by email. I also have a website. I am Hatu altogether.com. That also has coaching packages up there and everything that I offer. But yeah, you can give me a call, shoot me an email, see me in the local community. Let's have that conversation.
And you can also get your overhead door fixed. AJ's a wonderful guy. I have to put in a plug for him. And a lot of you have used them. Had somebody the other day tell me that they had used Elite.
He gets my
overhead
coaching.
garage doors. He gets your
He gets my coaching.
That's why he's such a go-getter out there.
We coach each other.
AJ is such a nice guy, and we've had a lot of our viewers to use them, and so I did want to put in a plug for Elite overhead garage doors as well. So anyway, thank you, Jet, for coming this morning and giving us some positive advice, and we know that we can get some help, some coaching, and if we need that Kickstarter. But let's start off 2025 on a positive note, and we'll be right back right after this.